Okinawa, Japan. Many of you have probably heard of this place. Okinawa is often called the Japanese version of a tropical paradise, a popular destination for those seeking rest and relaxation. The population here is relatively small, and many locals live a lifestyle that feels more Western than traditional Japanese. There is a simple explanation for this: about a quarter of the island's territory is occupied by U.S. military bases. And it was precisely here that a chain of events began, events that would later shake not only Okinawa, but all of Japan, nearly turning into a major political scandal. Welcome to my channel. Here I talk about true crimes and strange phenomena. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe and let's dive into today's case. In the city of Yuruma, Okinawa, lived a 20-year-old woman named Rina Shimabukuro. Despite her young age, she had already been working in an office for some time, which spoke volumes about her sense of responsibility and independence. Her colleagues described her as determined, polite, and sensitive, a quiet person who nonetheless left a strong impression. Rina grew up as an only child. Because of this, she often dreamed of having a big family of her own. She once said she wanted to have as many as 6 children. By 2015, her life seemed to be moving in that direction. She began dating a local Okinawan man. Japanese media later withheld his name to protect his privacy. Their relationship developed steadily. Eventually, they rented an apartment and started living together. During the week they worked, and on weekends they enjoyed spending time together. Friends noticed that in familiar company Rina became more open. She loved singing and dancing and wasn't shy about showing her talents. On April 28, 2016, Rina had a long and exhausting day at work. In the evening, she decided to go for a walk to clear her head. Around 8 p.m., she put on a black parka and raspberry-colored sneakers and left the apartment. Before heading out, she messaged her boyfriend via the Line app, telling him she was going for a walk and would return later that evening. This was nothing unusual. Rina often walked along a nearby water canal, a familiar and seemingly safe route. On one side were residential buildings, shops, and restaurants, on the other, an industrial area with factories and warehouses that operated late into the night. As the hours passed and midnight came, her boyfriend began to feel uneasy. At around 2 a.m., he sent her a message: "Hope you had a peaceful night." The message was marked as read, which reassured him slightly. He assumed Rina might have met someone she knew and stayed out longer than planned. In Japan, it's common not to express concern too openly, so he decided to wait until morning. But morning came and Rina never returned. She didn't reply to any further messages. Importantly, she had left without her wallet, making it unlikely that she had gone far or planned to stay away. Realizing something was seriously wrong, her boyfriend reported her missing to the police. The police quickly arrived and began gathering information. At the same time, Rina's friends took to social media, spreading the word about her disappearance. Speculation grew rapidly. Some suggested she had been kidnapped by a cult, while others suspiciously pointed fingers at her boyfriend. Despite missing person posters appearing all over the city, there were no immediate leads. The first real breakthrough came through digital evidence. Using GPS data, investigators traced the last known location of Rina's phone. It led them to the industrial area along the canal, the same route she usually walked. Police then reviewed surveillance footage and analyzed hundreds of vehicles recorded in that area on the night of her disappearance. One car drew particular attention, a red SUV, seen near the location at the relevant time and driving erratically. The owner of that vehicle was soon identified. He was Kenneth Franklin Gatson, 32 years old, an African-American former U.S. Marine. Kenneth had served several years in Okinawa before being transferred back to the United States in 2011. After his honorable discharge in 2014, he returned to Okinawa as a civilian. There, he found work with a company providing internet and television services on U.S. military bases. He married a local Okinawan woman, took her surname, Shinzato, and soon became a father. To neighbors, he appeared to be an ordinary family man. But his car placed him near the scene of Rina's disappearance. Before continuing, it's important to understand the broader context. U.S. military presence in Okinawa has long been a source of tension. Protests date back decades, but the most infamous incident occurred in 1995, when 3 U.S. servicemen assaulted a 12-year-old Okinawan girl. Massive protests followed, with locals demanding fewer military bases and stricter controls over personnel. Although the Japanese government promised reforms, progress was slow and often stalled by political interests. Against this background, the case of Rina Shimabukuro reignited old wounds. When questioned, Kenneth Gatson confessed. He led police to a forested area, where they discovered a black suitcase. Inside was the decomposing body of a young woman. After weeks in the Okinawan heat, identification was difficult, but DNA testing confirmed it was Rina. Kenneth provided a full confession. That evening, while driving through Yuruma, he noticed a petite young woman walking alone. Kenneth later admitted that he had suffered from disturbing thoughts since childhood fantasies involving abduction and violence. Despite mental health issues, he had managed to enlist in the Marine Corps. Seeing Rina, he believed the moment was destined. He parked his car, followed her, and struck her from behind with a metal object. When she resisted and cried out for help, he attacked again, eventually killing her with a knife. He then placed her body into a suitcase, drove roughly 20 kilometers away, and discarded it in a secluded area. After that, he returned home to his wife and newborn child as if nothing had happened. For days, then weeks, he waited for the police to arrive. When nothing happened, he began to believe he had escaped punishment. He was wrong. Kenneth was charged and brought to trial. Rina's parents demanded the death penalty, a sentence still used in Japan, but rarely imposed. The court ultimately sentenced Kenneth to life imprisonment, stating that such a brutal and senseless crime allowed no room for leniency. Okinawan society was shocked. Protests followed, though they were smaller than those of 1995. Still, the incident reached the highest political levels. During his visit to Hiroshima in May 2016, U.S. President Barack Obama formally apologized for the crime. Yet, as many locals noted, no decisive changes followed. And so the question remains, why did it end there? Rina Shimabukuro was a young woman just beginning her adult life, planning a future, dreaming of family and happiness. All of it was taken away in a single night by one deeply disturbed individual. Thank you for watching.